Have you ever experienced something and didn't really understand the significance of it at the time, or you kind of just glossed over? Welcome to Walking Through the Word for today. We're in John chapter 12, and Jesus is having a conversation with a crowd that included some Greeks and included some Jews, and they were having one of those moments where they were hearing something and experiencing something, but they didn't quite understand the significance of what was happening. They didn't understand that it was truly a special moment that they were experiencing. So Jesus had just talked about how it was now time, finally time for the Son of God to be glorified, for the Son of Man. Finally, the time has come after they've been waiting. And he said this statement that I'm going to be lifted up. Now the problem is the crowd, with their interpretation of Scripture, didn't exactly understand what he was talking about. They said, well, wait a minute, the Son of Man got to be lifted up. Well, yeah, we know this because he's going to go up ascended into heaven. What they didn't understand was that Jesus wasn't talking about his ascension into heaven, but him being raised up on the cross, which we kind of alluded to last time. Jesus is trying to show that before the glory can happen, suffering must occur. And this is really kind of a truth in life in general. You know, we have to endure some kind of suffering in order to experience the glory. Athletes will tell you this. They have to endure the endless hours of training and preparation. Musicians will tell you the endless hours of practice to make something that looks effortless and actually wasn't effortless. Anyone who has ever experienced something of value recognizes that you have to suffer prior to really getting to experience the glory. And this is exactly what's happening with Jesus. Jesus is going to be glorified for sure. The voice from heaven said, I am going to glorify you. I've done it before and I'm going to do it again. But in between those two glories becomes the suffering. But the people didn't quite understand that. See, they were misreading Scripture when they said, well, we don't even know who the Son of Man is. We don't know who the Messiah is. But we know that when we do see him, he's going to be lifted up in an amazing way. They were a little off because at some point Jesus will come back down and he will ascend and will descend in a manner of great glory where no one will doubt who he is. But for now, the people can't quite figure it out. And Jesus is trying to help them understand that this moment right here is special. This moment right here, the conversations are unique. They will look back on this for thousands of years, and we do. And they will look at it and go, man, I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have been a part of this experience. And that's what Jesus is saying. You're going to have the light just a little while longer. Now, who is the light? Well, that's him. He is the light of the world. We're about to see Jesus go through the final sermon, if you will, his final preparation stages, and he's going to have the I am statements are going to come in powerful ways, and we're going to dive into those. But Jesus is trying to allude to that now. You're going to have the light a little longer, so while you have it, learn from it, soak it in, be a part of it before this darkness overtakes you. Now, what is the darkness? Well, the darkness is once again sin, depravity. It's the crucifixion. It's all of these things that are dark that are going to be happening. And Jesus is saying, after I'm gone, you're going to have to struggle once again into the light. It's kind of like walking through your house and you walk through the dark, you turn on the light to get a glass of water maybe out of your kitchen, and then you turn the light back off to make the trudge back to your bedroom, hopefully not stepping or running into something along the way. Jesus is saying, right now you have every opportunity to see where you're going, to see what you need to do, to have it revealed exactly which way you should go. And he's saying, hold on to it while you can, so that you can become children of light. But the crowd, they didn't quite catch it. They took for granted what Jesus was saying. And unfortunately, this was one of the last times that Jesus truly spoke in public. When he had finished speaking, Jesus left and hid himself from them. See, Jesus is about to spend a lot of time working and investing in his followers, and he was trying to get those people that were yet still on the fringe to recognize where the light comes from. The funny thing is, and the ironic thing is that we oftentimes can recognize the light, but we don't want to go into the light, because the light means that we have to be willing to change what we do, change our thoughts, change our ways, change our feelings, make quote-unquote sacrifices to follow God. And yet, if Jesus' promises are true, that he is the light, but he's also the way. He is the hope. He is the door. He is the good shepherd. He is all of these things that he promises, then perhaps the sacrifice of following Jesus is not as great as we initially thought. And perhaps the things that we hold on to dearly aren't quite as valuable as we make them out to be. Maybe instead of missing what God has for us, we pursue him and try to stay in the light and not miss the moment.